Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back. It's Travis here with JT Wealth. Now, in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the pretty big speed bump I have hit on my path towards financial independence and retire early, or the FIRE movement. And initially, I thought this was kind of embarrassing and I didn't really understand what was going on. But now I've really come to terms with where I'm at and what happened, and I want to share that experience with you guys so you know exactly when it may or may not happen to you on your journey. So let's get into it. All right, thanks so much for joining us again. I really appreciate it, guys. If you don't mind, take 2 seconds, hit the like button, and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And like I said in the intro, I'm going to talk to you guys today about a pretty big speed bump I hit on my path towards financial independence and retire early. I've even created a slightly humorous name for this phenomenon, and I'm going to share that with you guys as well. All right, so I'm on the road to FIRE. Hopefully you guys are as well. If you're not, what are you waiting for? But I have seemed to have hit one fairly big speed bump, and I want to get into why I think that's happened and right exactly where I am in my FIRE journey that allowed that to happen. So we are going to touch on basically the 5 overarching steps as I view them in journeys towards FIRE and talk about exactly where I am and how this happened. Now, this is just kind of my version of it based on reading multiple different books and blogs, etc., and just kind of piecemealing stuff together into an order and a format I can understand. So the 5 steps to achieve FIRE as I view them are just knowing and understanding what FIRE really means and which version of FIRE you're going to kind of pursue. Secondly, it's all in your head. You have to have a positive mental attitude when approaching anything. That includes your financial journey. You really do need to believe you can do this. Third, your budget and your personal FIRE numbers. You have to know what your assets and your liabilities are so that you know how much extra money you have to invest. And beyond that, you have to know what your FIRE number is just so that you know what you're reaching towards. You have to have that end goal in mind. Okay, number 4, you have to look at the different ways that are out there in order for you to reach FIRE. Whether you're going to be involved in house hacking or investing or you're going to become an entrepreneur, there's so many other ways to increase your income. And once you know those, you can create your personal plan towards FIRE. Now, lastly, you set your milestones. You have to kind of arrive at 0 first, right? That to me is probably the number 1 goal for anybody to have, because that is the first step in giving yourself a humongous raise. Now you are almost liquid. Whatever your income is, you have that available to you for whatever purpose you may determine. So arriving at 0 is huge. Then you set yourself some milestones of like 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. The journey to FIRE can be tedious, but give yourself little steps to stop, celebrate, and recognize that you really are doing something fantastic. And for me, it's at that achieving and reaching 0 point where I finally found that I'm having some difficulties, right? I've hit that speed bump, and it is because we really have given ourselves an incredible raise by not having all of that debt. I'm 4 months shy of reaching my debt paydown strategy, wherein we paid down $140,000 worth of debt in a 12-month period. We started in January, we'll be done in December. So we're really excited about that. But as we get closer to that goal, I'm realizing I have a lot of extra money. And yes, I'm doing what I can to snowball this into the debt payoff plan, but we're starting to think about what that money could do once the debt is gone. And so here comes the embarrassing part. I have to tell you guys something, and it is this. Hi, my name is Travis, and I'm Luxcurious. And if you've never heard of the word Luxcurious, it's because it doesn't exist. I've Googled it, I tried to find anybody using the term, it simply doesn't exist. But I want to explain what I mean by Luxcurious. Let's start with the dictionary definition of luxury, and that is a state of great comfort and extravagant living. Adjective, luxurious, or the nature of luxury. That is the main part of being luxurious. You find yourself with a little bit of extra income and you really start wondering what you could do with it. All of a sudden you're looking at nicer things that you otherwise would not have ever looked at in the past. Cars, homes, etc. And that's a downward spiral. It can be dangerous. And obviously curious is just eager to know or learn something a little strange, maybe unusual, right? I began to be curious about the whereabouts of the bride and groom, or what I'm gonna do with my money. Found myself imagining what I could buy with all of this new money. And maybe I'm not alone in this. I don't know. Hopefully other people who have gone through the path towards FIRE and financial independence, maybe you can chime in, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know if you were so just absolutely passionate and dead set and pushing towards your FIRE goals with investing, or maybe, just maybe, you started thinking, oh man, that car's really nice, or oh, I could buy this. I don't know, maybe I'm alone on this one, but I found myself wondering or just searching, right? So obviously this is a huge speed bump, and it was something I had to kind of accept and acknowledge, okay, here's where I'm at, this is why it's happening, but this is absolutely detrimental towards towards achieving my FIRE goals, right? Any money I put towards a luxury item is taking away from my future and my free time, where I have to continue going to work to afford my luxury items, and that is something I'm just not willing to do. Now, it's been said before that before you go off trying to say something profound, remember somebody else has already said it best. So I'm going to show you guys an example of somebody who has explained this perfectly, and here it is. This comes from Leandra over at Female in Finance on the Instagram, and her posts are absolutely fantastic, guys. So if you haven't checked her out, do so as soon as you're done watching this video. But she says, hey, nice car. You got two options here. You can buy a new Tesla Model 3 with an MSRP of $36,990 and have monthly payments of about $665 if you're lucky enough to get a 3% APR. Or you can invest $665 a month, the same amount the car is going to cost you. 5 years later, that investment will have reached over $50,000. In 15 years, your investment would have grown to $265,000. And 30 years later, if you had continued to make a $665 a month investment, you would have over $1,371,791. And now, if we're being honest, is that even a luxury item? If the average American is spending $568 a month on their car, $660 isn't far reaching. I was thinking more like $1,000 a month to have an actual luxury vehicle, and that would make these numbers even higher. Well, would you look at that? Leandra did it again. She's got an example for you guys, and it's based on compounding interest. Let's take a look at scenario 2 in this. If somebody were, say, to purchase a $1,000 vehicle or invest that same $1,000, this is what could happen. 6.5 years later, after starting to invest $1,000 a month at roughly an 8% rate of return, you would have $100,000. Now, I'm not so sure your car would still be worth anything worth what you paid for it, let alone $100,000 6.5 years later. But now let's add 5 years to that, all right? So you are now effectively at 11.5 years of investment, and you have $200,000. 4 years later, you have $300,000. And if you just stop investing at that point and wait another 15 years without investing a dime, you will have $1 million. If you find yourself getting a little Luxcurious, as I did, always remember what the end state is, what the end goal is for you and your family. If your investing means freedom and means time that you get to spend with your loved ones instead of in an office, that car, that motorcycle, whatever purchase you might want to make just to make yourself feel better, is it really worth it? Alright guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. I really just wanted to come out and be honest and open with some of the feelings I've been having and my Luxcurious nature, as I have a little bit more liquid income right now, and we start getting to a point where I'm wondering what to do with it. Well, I'm staying on track. I'm not buying a new car, a new motorcycle, or anything silly. There's no luxuries in my future. I'm going to continue investing my money and paying off any debts I might have, and we're very excited to finally reach that point in December. But like I said, thanks so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, remember, smash the like button, consider subscribing, leave a comment in the comment section down below if you're chasing FIRE and have ever felt something similar to what I was going through, my speed bump and my Luxcurious nature. Thanks so much for checking out the video today, guys. Until next time, bottoms up.